That's probably the maddest I'd been in a while. It's probably the dumbest thing I'd done in a while.
This podcast is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. Spoiler warning for whatever is in the title of this episode.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the horrorofbabylonpodcast@gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/thehorrorofbabylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that The Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible and all other major podcast apps.
Welcome to episode 15 of the Treehouse of Horror of Babylon, where we discuss Dial D for Diddle Lee. I am Ryan, and with me as always is Daniel. Say hi, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
And thank you to our patrons, including Abigail the First, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, and
Logan,
the Full Metal Patron, and Ben, the Fourth Patron of Hope, and Mia the Fifth, the Rainmaker.
She makes it rain, yo.
Oh, she makes it rain. And thank you to Horsemen Comics Gaming, which you can visit in Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia, the Mall at Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can shop online at shop.forhorsemancomics.com. And if you make it into the store, say hello to Ronald III, Grampus of Christmas, who I think is the devil's other mistress.
I'd watch.
I would watch. Okay, our history with Dexter, because we're discussing a parody of Dexter. I have never seen or read anything Dexter ever.
I started watching it with my stepdad and my younger brother. Back when the show was first coming out, it was really good. I got sort of obsessed with it. It was also around the same time I was really obsessed with like the Saw movies. So it was a bunch of like serial killer stuff that I was into at the time. And then I started reading the books, I think my freshman or sophomore year in college. First book is Darkly Dreaming Dexter. All the titles have alliteration like that, which I really like alliteration. And he talks like that in the book too. Mm-hmm. The book is all from like his perspective.
I literally love alliteration.
Yeah. So that's my history. I haven't seen the most recent series they came out with, and I also haven't finished the book series. I think I'm 2 books behind.
2 books. Are they still publishing?
No, I think he finally ended it with Dexter is Dead.
Seems appropriate.
The vampire's a pure myth, superstition. I may be able to bring you proof that the superstition of yesterday can become the scientific reality of today.
Okay, background. This episode originally aired on October 30th, 2011. It's Treehouse of Horror number 22, which is season 23, episode number 3. Overall, it's episode number 489. The other 2 segments are the Diving Bell and the Butterball, which is a Spider-Man parody where Homer becomes a paraplegic Spider-Man.
Alliteration.
And In the Navi, which is a parody of Avatar, was directed by
Paraplegic Peter Parker.
I didn't put their name in. It was directed by Matthew Vaughn, who has been working with The Simpsons since 1998 and was a co-director on the Emmy award-winning episode 3 Gays in a Condo, which is the classic episode where Marge kicks Homer out and he moves in with 2 gay guys. Really love it. Very good episode. And it was written by Carolyn O'Mean, who is a Simpsons writer who formerly worked for Full House and wrote the episode Working Mom, which is the episode where Marge becomes a drag queen, which I love that episode also.
How's it compared to the one when Peggy Hill became?
I like the Simpsons one better.
Okay.
King of the Hill one is like at Peggy's expense.
Yeah.
This one is not at Marge's expense.
Okay.
Actually, I think the King of the Hill one's a little more sensitive towards drag queens. I mean, you've seen as we've gone through these. Sometimes the Simpsons just give no shits. They just let people have it. And currently, Carolyn Omin is a producer on the show.
And that's that. Another story in the classic, infallible 3-act structure. Good enough for Aristotle, good enough for The Simpsons.
Mr. Sislak, I have a feeling there's going to be one more act to this story.
Well, I'm not hanging around for that. 4 acts.
All right, structure and parodies. I don't know, because I've never read or watched Dexter. Daniel, is this actually a parody of Dexter, or is it just like a Treehouse of Horror episode that has some Dexter jokes?
It started off as like a Dexter parody. Dexter's a serial killer who kills other killers. Mm-hmm. He doesn't do it because he says he feels the voice of the dark passenger is what he calls it. Mm-hmm. And that's just like his like serial killer impulse to do it. In the books, it turns out that it's an actual supernatural entity. Ooh. That like lives inside of his head. Ooh. Who's the child of Baal.
Ooh.
Yeah. And in the TV show, they like got rid of anything supernatural.
Boo.
And he's just a serial killer.
Boo.
He just wants to kill people.
Bad Dexter show.
It did a okay job as far as like being a parody. It started off a lot stronger because one of the things he does is like after he kills somebody, he chops up their body and then like throws them into the ocean. So,
in this, I'm assuming like this was more like focused on the Dexter show.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I assumed.
Have you seen the intro for the Dexter show?
No, but I assumed that was the part with
100%. That's so good.
I loved that, like, the whole thing is you think Ned is about to kill somebody, and then it's something else, until the last one where it shows praying hands, which would be Ned. But, oh, wait, that's actually the result of a murder.
In the Dexter opening, it's him making breakfast, but everything looks like hyper violent. Like when he's cutting the orange, like you see all the juices spraying out as the knife is cutting into it.
Cool.
And like the way he's laying meat on it, it's like made to look like super graphic, even though it's like just like an everyday chore. He even like ties his shoelaces super tight.
Like he's strangling somebody.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
It's real cute.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
All right, moving on to characters. We're going to talk about Ned and Homer. Starting with Ned Flanders. Do you think that Ned Flanders would actually murder someone if he believed that God told him to do it? Like, canonically in the show, not in, like, Treehouse 4.
I don't know. I think he might know the Bible well enough to know about, I can't remember the guy's name, whose, like, test it was to sacrifice his own son, and then an angel stops him at the last second.
Abraham.
So he'd probably go into it assuming it's a test the whole time and then accidentally kill somebody. If I wanted to like write that episode like he was seriously hearing the voice of God, he'd be like, God's gonna stop me in a second now.
No angel stopped Job's suffering.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just a joke, Job.
It's fine. This is a test.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I mean, he's obviously like a fundamentalist Christian, but I also think he has like a Steve Rogers-esque like streak of morality, and I also don't think that he has just like the stuff in him to kill someone.
This is the devil trying to trick me.
It's kind of hard to say. Okay, and then quick on Homer. I don't feel like Homer in this Treehouse of Horror tricking Flanders into murdering people is really that far away from the canonical Homer Simpson.
I mean, you see more Simpsons than me, so I guess.
I mean, what do you think? Because I don't think he's that. I think he's like 1 to 2 steps away from like actually being like a supervillain, or like having like the morality of a supervillain.
Yeah, I mean maybe.
He tends to be very short-sighted and see like think about the immediate gratification, like this guy shorted me on my ice cream. I'm going to have somebody murder him, and not thinking about anything that might result in.
Am I Homer Simpson?
I mean, we're all a little Homer Simpson.
Because that's the first thing I think when someone messes up my order at McDonald's.
We're going to have you murdered. This is a non-sweet tea. I'm going to have you killed.
Well, it's usually like they give me my food and then I drive away and then I get home and I'm like, I should have checked in line.
Yep.
But you got like a big ass line behind you and they're
Yep.
trying to usher you away.
Yep.
So you drive away and then I get there and I'm like, I'm missing like 2 things in here.
Wendy's has that sign under their drive-thru window that says, taste your fries before you pull away. I'm like, nobody, like, yes, that's a good idea, but nobody does that. And like, even I've done that once or twice and they were, you know, kind of cold and I'm like, oh, but there's 3 cars behind me.
Yeah, there's like, and they act like you're being an asshole if you do it right in front of them. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, if this is the same McDonald's that messed up my order yesterday. Sorry, that's a whole ass rant.
If I were the McDonald's employee and you said that to me, I'd say, well, why'd you come back?
I never say this stuff. I'm super polite to them because they work a very shitty job.
Yeah.
I try to be super understanding, and when they mess up, I'm really polite about it.
Yeah, I mess stuff up.
But it's like, you know, it's still frustrating, and you still have like, I guess you'd call those like those dark impulses where you have like this extreme reaction to a minor inconvenience.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Like somebody like cuts in front of you and you're like, man, I should just run them off the road.
Somebody ran a yield sign not too long ago and ran me into oncoming traffic.
Ugh.
And then when I corrected myself and I got back in my lane, they started riding my ass. So I stopped my car and got out and asked them if they wanted to get out of the car. That's probably the maddest I'd been in a while. It's probably the dumbest thing I've done in a while.
Yeah, that's dangerous. A lot of people around here have guns in their car, including you.
Yeah, I was like, I started screaming about yield signs. I was like, do you not know what yield means? So I need to teach you.
Yeah, I run into that every day in those traffic circles by my house. But
yeah, I usually don't get that mad. I can't remember what was up my ass that day.
Something was up your ass.
I'll kill you all! I'll drive you crazy, and I'll kill you all! I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
Speaking of asses, scary shit. Best joke and worst joke. I'm struggling a little bit with this one.
Okay, best joke. I was really a fan of the prostitute interaction.
Yeah, it was funny, and that's Nelson's mom.
Yeah. God damn it! That makes it better.
Yeah.
I you know, spend less time on your back and more on your knees. I was like, that's still a thing she could do for you.
Yep. That was the joke I expected.
Yeah.
I expected her to say something like, well, I can do that. That's cheaper.
Oh, so the discount option, cheapskate we got.
But I like the those who can't do teach joke as well.
Yeah. My least favorite joke was the Looney Tunes kill. I didn't care for it.
Yeah, I think that's probably mine too. Like I get it, but
like I don't hate Looney Tunes, but I'm just like, something about trying to replicate Looney Tunes in something that isn't just classic Looney Tunes has never worked for me.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Looney Tunes, but I'm not. I mean, it wasn't that great.
I think that, like, have you seen like new Looney Tunes?
Yeah, it's okay.
It is okay, but I think the best thing that they did was try not to replicate all the old jokes.
Yeah.
They're trying to do their own thing. I'm like, that's good, because trying to replicate that sense of humor and style in today's market just doesn't seem to work.
You also just can't do, like, the violent things that they used to do.
Yeah.
And they had a character that was basically just a giant rapist, and they just, can't do that anymore.
I miss Pepe Le Pew.
I miss him too. And Speedy Gonzales.
I miss Apu.
Speedy Gonzales is the Apu of Looney Tunes.
Yeah. He's in the show.
He is, but then they like tone him down like way hard.
They did, but they also made him like he owns a Mexican restaurant. So I'm like, guys,
I want Apu back. This is bullshit.
Yeah, I'm like if you tone him down, like adding this element, like either tone him down or just like keep the vibe. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because if you tone down the vibe, but then you just go and do that, I'm like, what was the point?
I saw an episode recently where Apu's brother sells his shares of the Quickie Mart to his millennial son, so Apu has to run the Quickie Mart with his millennial nephew, and his nephew calls him a giant Indian stereotype, and Apu just comes back at him like, well, you're a millennial stereotype, and just does all these horrible millennial things. I'm like, yeah, that's all true.
Yeah, that's funny.
Okay, so I agree on worst joke. Best joke, it's hard. I don't know. There's some really...
God literally coming down didn't work for me all that much.
I do like the devil is God's boss.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
But like when God first showed up, I'm like, that doesn't really work for me. But then when you like keep going with it and double down, and then the devil's fucking Ned's wife.
Yeah, that was good. I also like that when God reaches out to strangle Homer, he says, "Why, you little," which is what Homer always says just as he's strangling Bart.
I also like that he just uses 2 little fingers or big fingers because he's a giant.
Okay, I'm gonna say my favorite joke is Ned's key code to get into his weapons safe.
That was also pretty good.
It's really good. I'm not going to even try to do it because I can't, but it's very funny.
Kiss me, fat boy.
Kiss Me, Fat Boy, A Night with Marge as the Switch Witch, or Maud, the Bride of Satan.
I don't think I can ever say no to Marge.
What's especially sexy about the Switch Witch is that you get something that you very rarely get with Marge Simpson, and that's cleavage.
Yeah.
Like, you almost never get it.
I also like anything that pushes her hair down.
Yeah, I love her hair down. Also, I'm a big fan of stockings.
Same. Every woman I've ever dated, I'm like, can you just wear stockings for me once?
Yeah, just once. So I'm totally about the Switch Witch. I will gladly give up candy.
Yeah.
I'll take all the toothbrushes.
Yeah, I'll eat the vegetables.
Yeah. And we're not really we don't normally talk about the framing device or the intro, but this episode has a particularly strong one with like a really good like alien joke and just a really random Watchmen costume from Homer. And
I fucking love the way Homer looks as Dr. Manhattan. Yeah. The alien joke was really good.
Yeah, because it's just like, I actually, like, when I was watching, I was like, why is Bart dressed up as an astronaut? That's not something that Bart Simpson would Oh.
It's an Aliens reference. Yeah. That's great.
That is absolutely something that Bart would do.
Yeah.
Oh my God, are you Stephen King? No, I'm Dean Koontz. Oh.
Kings and Koontz. King is hard for me because I'm not familiar with the source material, but I do like something I really appreciated about this. Sometimes these Treehouse of Horrors have trouble with resolution, like how do we end this? And Homer like accidentally outing himself while he's on the microphone is just, I thought, was really smart and really funny.
Yeah,
I think that's my king.
My king is the intro.
Yeah,
because it's just a really good replication of the Dexter intro.
My Koontz is there are not enough murders. You get to see him kill Mr. Burns and Snake and Patty and Selma, and that's it.
Mine is that the murders weren't graphic enough. Mr. Burns wasn't too bad, but I've seen how visceral the Treehouse of Horrors can be. And
yeah, they can be pretty bad.
Even some of the like recent ones, and I'm sitting there like, you have serial killer Ned Flanders, and you couldn't like skin somebody alive or something.
Yeah.
Or like just rip their skin. I'm just like spitballing here, but
yeah, no, I agree.
Instead, you Looney Tunes it. That would be.
I would probably just change that whole segment to him doing something more grotesque to Patty and Selma.
Yeah, and then saying something like sarcastic in their smoker voices.
It should have been like related to cigarettes, like burning them alive, like tying them up and then putting a bunch of cigarettes around their feet and then lighting them on fire.
You know what the Simpsons could do? They could do if they haven't done one already, do another Saw parody. Because in, I think it's Saw 6, they have a smoker trap where a guy has to hold his breath, and if he doesn't, a thing will crush his lungs. But he's been a smoker all of his life, so he can't hold his breath.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I think they've done a Saw one. I would be shocked if they haven't. It's not on the list. Maybe.
Hey, Simpsons, hire us as writers.
I'm really shocked.
You could dress Bart up as little Billy the Puppet.
Yeah. Checking both wikis, the actual wiki, and no, it doesn't look like they have.
All right.
Okay, well there you go, another free idea from us.
When they release it, we'll just respond with this episode. Timestamp.
All right, rankings. You're going first. It's not Homerzilla.
It's not Homerzilla. I think I'm gonna put it right below Dial Z for Zombie.
Dial D for Diddley.
I'm just gonna put all the dials together.
Now that makes sense. So below Dial Z for Zombie and above If I Only Had a Brain. I'm gonna put it in the same, also below Dial Z for Zombie, but that's a smidge lower on my list. So it's my new number 14, and it's your number 13.
So they're in the similar range.
Yeah, it's not bad. It definitely has some good jokes, but one of the weaker ones overall.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen, like I've said this before we recorded. We haven't watched one of these that I've outright hated yet.
Maybe that'll be my mission, is to find
one that I will hate.
Yeah, or just find a bad one.
Yeah, because I came up with a conspiracy theory that this is Ryan's way of turning me into a Simpsons fan over time.
Yeah.
Because I come in and he'll explain lore to me, and I'll sit and I'll listen. I'll go, oh, that's neat. I want to see that. Or tell me about an episode I want to see.
I'm struggling to think of one that I don't like. Typically, what I don't like is when they do a bunch of like non-horror parodies. Like, okay, so taking this one as an example, it's the 3 segments are parodies of Dexter, Spider-Man, and Avatar,
and 2 of those aren't horror.
Yeah, and like Avatar is science fiction, so
and Dexter is really kind of more thrillerish anyway.
Now the Avatar and the Spider-Man ones are good; they're funny.
Yeah,
but why are they in Treehouse of Horror?
Yeah. Because they wanted to do a parody without like doing something in quote unquote continuity.
And they've done a lot. Like they did a Toy Story one.
Yeah.
They've done so many. So, but most of the time they're good. So maybe that'll be my mission for our next Treehouse of Horror. I'm going to try and find a bad one.
Okay, cool.
Which means I get to rewatch all of them. And the Spider-Man one, I think I have a picture of the poster in the notes.
Yeah, it's right up top. It's really cool.
Yeah, so Homer gets bitten by a spider and becomes a paraplegic. And he can only communicate by farting. It's like fart once for no, fart twice for yes. And,
oh, that'd be awful. I can't imagine a worse hell.
But that's how he swings around, by like propelling himself with farts. It's so bad.
Ryan, if I ever become paralyzed, you have my permission to kill me.
And then the Avatar one, they used the Kang and Kodos aliens instead of the blue people. So
it's one of Bart's romances from the tier list.
Yeah, Bart is the one. Were there any like good like Dexter Easter eggs?
The best ones were like the intro and then like chopping people up.
Okay.
I guess you could think like the Dark Passenger from the books. In the show, in the later
God.
Yeah, in the later seasons, Dexter starts to hallucinate his dead father. It will be communicating stuff with him. So I guess you could stretch it and say
just like Superman.
Oh, that's funny.
In DC League of Super Pets, Crypto communicates with a recording of his dad. His dad's name.
I need to watch this.
His dad's name is Dog L. And he emits himself from Crypto's collar. And he does it twice, and he has to go through the intro both times. And Crypto's like, we need a skip intro button on this thing.
Oh, skip intro.
Dog L. Homework. You're Homer, and you get to assign Ned's next 3 murders. Who, how, and why?
Apu, so that he's just gone.
Oh,
might as well kill him off.
He'll be reincarnated. He's Hindu. That's how we get Apu back on the show. Reincarnate him. Make him a tiger. At least then he'll be on the show.
I love that that's your solution.
I'll take anything.
Marge, but only if we can recreate the psycho shower scene using her. What's a good third one? I think I'm gonna go with Ned's kids.
Rod and Todd.
Yeah, 2-for-1 special.
How would he make a Ned? I guess Abraham and Abraham and Jacob.
Yeah, we were just gonna Abraham it.
That's so bad.
And then after he kills him, we'd be like, "Why, God? No, they're fine. Trust me. Just prop them up. 3 days, they'll be fine."
Oh, all right. But only because you haven't outed Rod and Todd.
Are they gay together?
I don't remember the episode, but there's an episode where they ask Rod who he's going to marry. He's like, "I'm going to marry my brother."
Oh no. Oh no.
Not only are his kids gay, but they're incestuously gay.
I mean, I guess you can't have an incest baby that way.
I would have Ned marry 3 new women and then have him murder each of them.
What 3 women?
Any other than Marge.
Whose wife?
Manjula.
Yeah.
I don't know if he could cross religious.
He does it to convert her, and then when she doesn't convert, he kills her.
He kills her. Okay. Then he also marries a female Jewish character, and also a
Krusty's daughter.
Krusty's daughter, who is played by my girl Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
Krusty's daughter is 10.
Oh, I thought she was an adult.
No, unless there's a second daughter, which is entirely possible.
Make it a future episode. She's an adult now.
Yeah. And then the third one actually would be a man, a husband, and Homer makes him have sex with him, and then Ned decides to kill him on his own. So
it's just Homer. That's what this is all about. It's their homosexual tension.
Yeah, I mean,
fanfiction validated.
Homer does think that Ned has a sexy ass canonically. Okay, cool. All right, upcoming on the Horror of Babylon. This Sunday we are reviewing The Little Sisters of Eluria, which is the short story that goes along with The Gunslinger, which we did last Sunday. And then the next Sunday we're getting back to Let the Right One In with our final episode, where we are reviewing both Let Me In Crossroads, which is the comic prequel to Let Me In, and Let the Old Dreams Die, which is the short story sequel to the novel. And then our next bonus episode is on January 18th, and that is Midnight Mass. Thank you to our patrons, Abigail, the First Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, and
Logan,
the Full Metal Patron, and Ben, the Fourth Patron of Hope, and Mia, the Fifth Rainmaker.
She makes it rain, yo.
And thank you to Horsemen Comics and Gaming, which you can visit at the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia, the Mall at Robinson, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can shop online at shop.forhorsemancomics.com. And thank you to Ronald III, Grampus of Christmas, who has also not outed Rod and Todd. And Ron also has not outed me for that secret that I told him that one night. That one night, sprawled out on the floor in front of the DC Comics display when I told you that secret, Ron.
Whispered in your ear.
No, I shouted it at the top of my lungs. All right, thanks for watching Dial D for Diddley and recording with me tonight.
It was a good time.
All right, thank you to our patrons. Stay tuned for our socials and stay scary.
Stay scary.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher, and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that the Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and all other major podcast apps. Stay scary.